Hey folks, David Frost, mystrategicforecast.com. You're here for another episode of Common Sense Market Analysis. Today is Tuesday, August 12th, 2014. We're going to start out a little bit different tonight for a second. I want to just actually give you a little bit of a lesson in some of the things I look for before I issue a trade alert to members, which one went out today, and I want to show you an example. So this is a chart of the XLF. This is not the trade alert. In fact, this chart from XLF is from October 2013 right here. And the reason I bring this up, I just picked any old chart, but I want to show you a classic reversal day. And this area here, this one day with this narrow bar, this is called, this little green narrow bar. This is sometimes called a doji. I call it a reversal day, and there's a couple of characteristics of a reversal day. What happens is they typically happen at lows in the charts, or they will happen at lows in the charts, okay? They happen on volume, and you can't see the volume on the screen, but this day, the XLF had about 78 million shares, and at the time, the average was about half of that number, actually less than half, about 33 million shares was about the average. So what happens is when I see something like this developing where stock's been going down, and it puts in a high volume reversal day where it makes a new low and then it finishes green on the day with high volume, that's a great indication. And like 9 times out of 10, that's a pretty good reversal day. And you can see what happened here. Well, I issued a trade alert today to the members after the close on an equity that had the same type of chart pattern here. And I was watching and I saw it developing throughout the day. And I wanted to wait till the close to make sure that it developed the way that warrants a trade alert, where I can be pretty sure to about 90% agree. In this case, the probability is that this particular equity goes higher, and so therefore I issued the trade alert. And I thought that was just good to pick out a lesson for a couple of minutes tonight before we got into the other stuff. So there you have it. If you want more of these, you can have them for free for 2 weeks. Come over to the blog, mystrategicforecast.com, click the link below, and just sign up. You get 2 weeks free, no strings attached. If you want to see the trade alerts, they're yours free. And now let's get on to biz. All right, so let's take a look at the SPY chart. And here you had what's kind of a little bit of a down day, but the market tried to recover at the end, and it's really somewhat of a pause day. And if you remember what I've been saying, okay, I've been saying that we'll see an up move, and we'll see maybe a B pattern, right? We have an A up, B pullback, and then a C up. And what I see developing here is something similar. You know, we had a couple of sideways days, although tomorrow I do think that we'll see upside tomorrow. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But staying with the pattern, that doesn't mean that this is going to be the end of the move. Let's say we get an up move tomorrow right to here, right to this target here. This would be our first target on the upside. Okay, let's say 195.78. Okay, that would be a good target for what's called a gap window. It'll come into these moving averages, pierce them a little bit, and probably stall out. But that may not be the whole move. So what I mean by that is that could really end up being an A move, because if this plays out like this, I think tomorrow, an up day, then there's really not enough time involved to correct most of this down move here. And what I would say is that would be considered an A move, and then I think we would see another move down and possibly one more move up. And the other reason I say that, and this has a pretty high probability in my mind right now, only because we're coming into the Labor Day holiday weekend. It's August, which is a lot of times volume is slow or light. And when volume is slow and light, we know that the markets have a tough time going down because they're too easily manipulated and pushed around, and the path of least resistance remains up when the volume is light. So that being said, we're going to have to take it day by day, and if the market's going to come down and break these lows here, we'll know it as it's happening because we'll get the signals, the volume will pick up, we'll see a reversal type of pattern develop, and the market tells us in advance usually what's going to happen, right? And let's get into what's going to happen. Tomorrow, the reason I keep saying I think there's an update coming tomorrow is because it's options expiration week, like I talked about yesterday, and weird things happen, and you'll see down moves and you'll see up moves no matter what's happening during the week, and you usually see a pretty decent up move during the week, and Wednesday's the perfect day. It's also called Wacky Wednesday sometimes. Weird Wacky Wednesday. You'll see an up and a down move in the same day for no apparent reason at all. But these are just, you know what it is? If you keep notes like I do for years, okay, so I pretty much have notes for every day in the market for years. And when you go back and you read the notes and you try and put stuff together and see things that just keep happening over and over and over again, well, if I go back in my notes and I find all the weeks that are options expiration weeks, okay, so every month, so 12 times a year, I have an options expiration week, and I go back 5, 6, 7 years, and I can look at all those weeks, okay, and all those weeks, you always seem to have a big up day, and it's always towards the middle of the week. So it's not a guarantee, it just seems to happen over and over again. So it's just something I'm aware of. So what happens is, so here's what I'm looking for tomorrow. If you want to take an intraday trade, for example, here's what you're looking for. 8:30 a.m., the retail sales numbers will come out. You have a bunch of other stuff going on. You got a couple of Fed governors talking tomorrow. You got some inflation numbers coming out from the Fed. It's a pretty heavy day in terms of economic news. Well, they've been talking down the retail sales numbers in the media. You know, when they parade the guys on and the gals talking about, you know, the economists and the market strategists and all that stuff, they're talking down the retail sales. And then, so what'll happen is the number will come out and they'll say that it's better than expected. And when the number comes out, the market will start up, and that's why they'll say it was better than expected. And then everybody will pile on, and the market will kind of gap up at the open, and it'll float higher for the rest of the day, and typically have, you know, maybe another buy program in the last half an hour or so of the day, and finish up, and I'm making this number up, finish up 15, 18 points on the S&P, you just see that over and over again. So I'm looking for that tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm just making up a scenario based on experience, nothing more, nothing less. Not saying it's going to happen. I just feel it. So anyway, that's what I see happening, and that's kind of where I feel the market is right now. I think the volume's going to stay light. I think we pop up, and we may even get this high tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens, but you'll see it unfolding as it happens. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I just feel it. So, all right, let's go over and take a look at the gold market real quick. And gold did nothing today. It started up early, and then it pulled back, and GLD finished up 3 pennies, which is nothing. But, you know, basically, it's still, you know, making another bullish pattern here. You have this gap up from a few days ago, last week, and now you're going sideways again above these moving averages, which to me is very bullish. In fact, while gold was only up 3 pennies today, or GLD was only up 3 pennies, GDX was up 46 cents. So GDX is the stronger horse here, and you know, that it doesn't really tell you much. I just feel if gold's going to rally, then GDX is going to follow. Even if the market's having some trouble, the gold miners are really heavily levered towards the price of gold. So as the price of gold goes up, they just make money by accident because of the inventory they've already got, or they're pulling out of the mines, or their hedges are set in a certain area, and as the price goes up, a lot of times they're benefiting from that. So that's my take on GDX, my take on gold. You know, I'm bullish on gold. I just don't think the time and the price has converged yet. I want to take a look at oil, because here's a sick market, and I've been talking about this the last several days. You know, it just doesn't look good, and it looks like it wants to go lower, and it looks like it wants to go, in terms of the USO chart, and for a move in the USO chart, it just looks like it wants to go a lot lower. It looks like it wants to go down at least $1 from here, and I want to show you the weekly chart, and you get a better picture of where it is. So here we are at about 36, okay, and here is 35. Okay, and here is 34. All right, so I think in this area here, maybe it appears to 35, but I think the bottom area might be 34. I don't think we get to 34, but certainly somewhere in this neighborhood. It depends on how it gets here. If it starts melting away every day like it did the last couple of days, forget it. There is no trade until you get a sign. But let's say you have a big down move, okay, or a series of 2 or 3 down moves right into like 34, 34 and a half. I think it's a buy, and I'll probably issue a trade alert. So I'm keeping an eye on it. It all depends on the pattern it comes into these numbers. Again, time and price, when they converge, and how the pattern is when it converges. All those things put together warrant a trade alert or not. So I'll be keeping my members in the loop on that one. But right now, there's no trade, so don't be long or short USO. There's just nothing to do here. It's like in no man's land, so be careful there. Nothing going on in oil. I think that's it for tonight. We're gonna call it a wrap. I'm David Frost, mystrategicforecast.com, and thanks for tuning in, folks.